and also the sign-in sheet. I'm going to make sure that slides link is live. So go ahead and take the next 1 minute, 40 seconds to sign in. We're going to find the sign in and drop it in the chat. All right, guys, we're gonna give you about 48 more seconds to sign in. We're gonna re-drop the links into the chat. So please take a moment to sign in, and you'll also find the slides there in the chat. We have 83 people here today. Don't forget to mute yourself if you've jumped in. And we'll get started in about 30 seconds. Rock on.
Do we have to do a sign out?
Sorry, I didn't hear you there. Could you ask that question in the chat, please?
Okay.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. I will be recording this session. All right, welcome everyone. It is September 2nd, 2020 at about 2 o'clock, and we are going to be talking about the better way to Google in Canvas. And if you haven't already, it looks like we have 105 participants who are coming in, 106. Welcome for those of you who are just coming in. We're going to drop some links into the chat. Please find the sign-in sheet and sign in. And I'm going to pass the microphone over to Jill. So Jill, go ahead.
I don't know if I'm grabbing all the resources, but they said they're going to record it so that people can go and view it later.
Yeah, Troy, we're going to record it.
Oh.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I know this was kind of last minute for actually all of us, but I think it's needed, and I think you're really going to like what we're sharing today. I think it'll help you feel a little less anxious and a little more grounded in what we're sharing today. So we're actually going to show how you do assignments starting from scratch, and there's two different options that we have. So we want to go ahead and share that. First of all, I just want to make sure that you know who is part of the distance learning team. And I think they're all familiar faces. And so you can reach out to any one of us and we can help you. And again, just quickly on the Zoom norms, make sure that your mic is muted, your video is off, and that you put questions in the Q&A document, and you can also ask us questions in the chat box. And this is the bit.ly link to the Q&A document. That way it stays there all year, basically, for you guys to go back and look at previous questions that were asked and find answers if you need immediate results, because a lot of you are asking the same question, so that really helps to put it on that document for us. Next slide. Okay. And where can you receive help? You can reach out to colleagues that are tech savvy. There's a lot of you doing some wonderful things that we're seeing in Canvas. You can reach out to your C5 and Model Tech teachers to help. There's academic coaches on your site. The VP and principals can help you also. And we do have a website that's not being as utilized as much as we would like. So please go to our Canvas support website. It has all the videos recorded that were done over the previous last month. The videos that Shelley made about Canvas, it's all there. So go back to that when you're kind of feeling like you're spending too much time just like searching and you're not getting answers. Go to those videos. They're very informative. And also we have a email that's dedicated to distant learning issues. So go ahead and email us, and any one of the 5 of us will grab that question and respond to you. And also there still is the traditional IT support. So fill out the ticket system and you can have help from them also. And Hans, I believe this is on to you.
Thank you, Jill. So welcome, everyone. Today we are going to share, oh, there we go. There's a little echo there. Today we're going to be sharing the integration changes with Google and Canvas that happened over the weekend. Some of you may have already noticed that there were some added differences when you're adding assignments. So our objectives today are to understand when and how to use Google Drive Cloud assignments by Canvas, and understand when and how to use Google Assignments LTI 1.3, which is a tool by Google. So we're looking at the difference between Google Drive Cloud Assignments, which is created by Canvas, and Google Assignments LTI 1.3, which is a tool created by Google. So that's the main thing that we're going to talk about today. So we're going to jump into an assignment demo, and to take the lead, I'm going to pass the mic over to Jill, and she's going to talk to you guys about Google Drive Cloud Assignments by Canvas. And I'm going to stop sharing, Jill, and you can start presenting your screen. We also have 138 people. If you're new to our session, please sign in on the sign-in sheet. We will drop it in the chat.
Mute. Okay. Host. Okay. Good. Okay. Let me go full screen on this. Okay. I have an admin account on this, so it may look a little bit different, but this is a sandbox account that I have created to show demos on that. So I'm at my home screen right now, and I want to go ahead and create a new assignment. And it's an assignment that I've used in the past, so it's sitting over in my Google Drive. So I go to assignments, and I want to add a new assignment. There's 2 places you can go. I usually pick the one that has the color on it, the blue, which is the plus assignment. Also, you can go to this plus sign here to add an assignment. I'm going to select that. And I need to label this, and I'm just going to label it as sample assignment. And for my instructions, since it's a Google document that I'm going to have the kids look at, I'm just going to say read instructions. Okay. And I want to give it 100 points for the value. It's going to be housed in the assignments. It's going to be display grade as points. And I do want it to count towards the final grade. So I'm going to leave that as is. And this is the important box here, the submission type. You have the choices of no submission, online, on paper, or external tool. Since this is a Google assignment that I've posted that's sitting in my drive, I want to use an external tool. I'm going outside of Canvas to find my assignment. Now it's going to ask me where I want to find this. So I click on the find, and then it has all these different apps that are there, and I want to find it in the Google, and there are two. Oops, let me go a little slower. There's this Google Assignment LTI. We'll show you that one later. The one that I want to show you now is the Google Drive Cloud Assignment. This is the one that Canvas has created as a integration between the two. And again, I'm still looking for my file that I want the students to have a copy of and complete. And I have stored it in a file that's called samples. And it is day one, Freya a friend. So that's the one that I want to send out to all students. Click submit. And this is the most important thing to remember. You need to select it again. If you don't select and cancel out, the kids will never see the assignment. Very, very important that you select again. And it defaults to the same choice of a tool that you did the first time. So just select, click on the select button, and then it has found where you want it to go. And the allowing the number of attempts, I'm going to put limited because I only want the kids to hand it in once, so they get one attempt to complete it. I want everyone in my class to have it. And then I have the dates. I'm going to leave that kind of open because this is kind of a fun assignment. And I want to save, and I'm going to publish at the same time because I want it to be published today for my student Hans that's going to complete it. So this is what it looks like in this view when you are selecting the Google Cloud assignment. You still have the document here, the day one. I can actually go over where it's back on the Google side. And here it gets embedded almost like in a frame of a box so you can see the whole visual of that. So let me just show you if I click here. It looks just like you're in Google completing it, which you actually are, kind of the shortcut out to this. So that's what it would look like for the on this teacher's view. Now what I want to do is stop a moment. I've assigned it, and so now I want to make sure that Hans is going to complete it. So I'm going to unshare my screen, and he is going to take over and complete the assignment as a student.
Awesome, thank you, Jill. So I'm a student in Jill's classroom. Oh, I think there's some echo. And it's time for me to complete my assignment. So I'm going to go into Jill's playground. That's the name of her classroom, her course. And I'm going to go into assignments. And I see this sample assignment. So I'm going to click on that. And as a student, this is what I'm going to see. And it's taking a while to load. So here's my day one Freya friend, and it's kind of embedded in that frame that Jill was showing us. I see a submit button, and but it's a little small for me to work on, so I can click this link, and it's going to open out to a new tab. And now I can see where I can type. So Freya friend, this is from the Freya model, and this is an Edu protocol strategy that we'll share with you guys later, but I'm going to describe my friend Shannon. She is nice, she is passionate about education, and she has blonde hair. And then I would go on to say 4 things that I like about her. I would describe her dream pet and 4 things that Shannon does not like. And I could even change this to say Shannon. So once I'm done with this assignment, I'm going to go back to my Canvas sample assignment, and I'm going to press the submit button. Watch what happens. 3, 2, 1, submit. It's going to take some time to think about what I'm doing. And then I see a confirmation that I submitted at September 2nd, 2020, 14:13. Army time. So, but what's going to happen on the teacher side? Well, let's go ahead and check this out. Jill's going to model to us what grading will look like on the teacher side. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and pass the mic over to Jill.
Okay. So on my screen now, I'm still at the assignment. I pressed it. Am I unmuted? Okay. Okay, here's my screen. And right now it's set at the assignments, but I want to go ahead and go to the grading element. So there is the grading, and I have these students, but I see that Hans has entered a assignment in there and it needs to be graded. So I can click on his name, and then I can look at it in the grades. And then I can also go and look at the actual assignment. And then this is where it gets embedded. This is a lot of clicks and a lot of downloading of the assignment. And so this isn't all that great for us, but you can still grade it here. You can still allow a comment, but there's actually a quicker way of doing it. So I'm going to go home. I'm going to go into assignments. I'm going to go back to the assignment. So it's where you created it. So stay in there, and you can go to this speed grader. This is a much quicker, this is a really, I think, a smart move on Canvas of what they did. It makes a teacher's life a lot easier. So go ahead and click on Speed Grader. It puts you directly into a gradebook where you have all your students are listed there. You can use the arrows forward and backwards to go to whatever students. It defaulted to Hans because he's the first one that submitted the assignment. It takes a little bit of time to load, but there is his assignment. I can see what he has done, and there's some neat tools that come with this. You can go ahead and actually drop in comments into this, and it's kind of like a teardrop, and I can place it anywhere on the document that I want. I can place it on letters anywhere, and it actually then, I can go over here and make a comment on that and say, please finish. Okay, I can leave that comment. You can also enter the grade here. So I'm going to give him, a 60 out of 100. I can add an assignment on the overall of the completion of it, something. I'm going to say a good start. And I also now can go ahead and link another file to it. So if they need additional information to complete their assignment, go ahead and add some more files that will help them, some more resources to complete it. You can actually have them, have yourself give them a video of your comments if you don't want to handwrite those down. You also have a speech-to-text feature, so you can verbalize what you want, and it will type it out for you. I'm going to go over the video just to kind of make it a little more fun. I thought this was very exciting to be able to do. So I'm going to start the recording. Hey Hans, I noticed you did a great start of this assignment, but I really need to have you finish it. So if you can go back tonight and finish those other elements, then I'll go in and I'll regrade it for you. But a great start, but keep on doing it. So I'm going to say finish. Okay, close that out.
I think it deleted it.
Oh,
You gotta save it.
sorry, I thought I saved it. Let me start recording. Okay, great start. Go ahead and finish it. I finished it. And then go down, and that's where you need to save. So don't do what I just did. Great example. And so then it goes here, and I'm going to put a comment. Great. Oh, they want me to voice type. Okay, let's see. Even with my funny Wisconsin, Chicagoan accent, we'll go ahead and see. Oops. Yep. Great start to the assignment, Hans. Keep going. Stop. And I'm going to submit my comments. So now he's got a verbal, he's got a written, a visual, and if I wanted to connect files too. So he's got it all. I'm going to go ahead and submit that. Okay. And so then you can easily go on to the next student if they had done the assignment by pressing forward and backwards. So you can kind of see the average of the class is up here and the number of students that you have graded on this one. So now I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I've graded it. Now we have to see what Hans sees over on his end.
Awesome. Thank you, Jill. So now that my teacher has graded my assignment, oh, I think there's some echo. Now that my teacher has graded my assignment, I'm going to check out what they've posted on that assignment. So let's go back into this assignment. Again, if I was a student, I would click on her, Jill's playground. I would click on assignments, and then I would go to that sample assignment that I've already completed. But now I can look and I see my assignment here, and there's a place I can submit it. So, I look over at the grades and there's a little yellow dot with a 1 next to it. So I'm gonna click on grades and explore what I have. And I see my name there and I see 60%. But you know what? I'm curious to see what would happen if I viewed this on the student view. So I'm gonna click over to the student view and go to that assignment. And I just wanna see, oh, and then on the student view, there's some issues of trying to get to the assignment because I'm both a teacher and a student. It's weird. Instead, I'm going to click on grades and student view, and this is what the student would see. They would see the sample assignment, and for some reason, I don't see the 60%. Let me refresh my assignment page. I'm going to refresh this. Maybe it's because I'm in student view. So if I click on grades, I see my sample assignment. So let me leave student view. Ideally, what they would do, they would click on their name, it would open up their side panel, they would go to grades, and then they would be able to see their score. They could also see that there were some comments posted. I can see that detail. And how do I look at your comments, Jill?
Go to the assignment.
Okay, so if I wanted to see the assignment, I would actually have to go to assignments, click on the assignments, and then once I got here,
No, I think you have to go back to grades and click on the assignment. Yeah.
okay. Or maybe, no?
Click on your name. Okay.
And then grades.
And then the assignment. The sample assignment. The actual assignment.
Okay, so they click on the actual assignment. This link is a download as a PowerPoint, so students wouldn't want to download that. But over here, I can see that Jill made a video. Let me see what she said.
Okay, great start. Go ahead and finish it.
Oh, I'm going to finish it, Jill. And in fact, I'm going to leave a comment for her with recorded media so the student can open up this record media and start recording. Hi, Mrs. Fetters. I'm so sorry that I submitted that without completing the assignment. I'm going to get on that right now and have it before 3 o'clock. And then I got to save it. And then she'll receive that comment. As a student, I can also attach a file. I could also upload other medias. So that's what it looks like. And oh, and I can also see my grade. So that's what it looks like on the student side. Now I'm going to pass the mic over to Jill, and she's going to talk about the features of Google Drive Cloud assignments.
Okay, now this is a Google Drive Cloud assignment. These are kind of, they are unique to the Drive Cloud because you do have another choice of a Google. So you've got to keep in mind in your head, you've got to think of your assignment of what you want to do and how you want to grade it. So if you want to choose the Google Drive Cloud assignment, you can only use files from your drive, and you have to be the owner of that. So if someone has shared a file with you, it doesn't work. It only searches your drive and the ones that you are the owner of for the kids to be able to access it. So you've got to keep that in mind. Also, it will make a copy of the document to all the students. It does that automatically, knowing, like Google Classroom, that every student needs to have their own copy. The one thing that is nice about it, it goes ahead and embeds that document or slide or sheet into the assignment box. So it's within Canvas that the kids are all staying. So it makes it kind of, nice and easy, especially for the younger students. The one thing that I think is really neat is that speed grader, because you can leave those videos as comments. You can type out comments. You can leave voicemails. You can highlight. You can draw on it. You can leave comments within the document for changes exactly to whatever spot that you want. So there's some really neat features of that speed grader, and you're not leaving Canvas, and it all gets graded in there. So I'm impressed. I really think this will be a nice feature that you'll like once you get used to it. Now we're going to go ahead and discuss the other option that you have. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Hans, and he's going to describe the next option you have.
Thank you, Jill. Also, we had a question about if teachers can open up their students' documents while they're working. And the answer is yes. If you open your, if you go into assignments as a teacher, open that assignment, you'll be able to find all of your students and what they're working on. And you should be able to open that into a new tab and see them working live if they're working at the same time that you open that assignment. And any other questions, Shannon, about Google Drive Cloud assignments by Canvas?
There's quite a few questions, actually.
So let's do this. If you wrote a question in the chat, we're going to drop in the link to the Q&A document, because with the amount of time that we have, we won't have enough time to answer every question, and we don't want to lose any question. So we're going to drop the link back into the chat. Oh, I think I hear an echo. So we're going to drop the link into the chat, and then
Got it.
And then we will respond to you guys. Just make sure you, and you can start tagging distance learning at pbvusd.k12.ca.us. But I'm going to move forward, and if this is too fast for some of you, I totally get it. With the amount of time and the content we have to cover, instead of going slow for 3 hours, we're going to cut this down to a short presentation that we will be uploading to our distance learning page, and you'll be able to view that video. So you got to see the tool that was created by Canvas, and now I'm going to showcase how to create an assignment with Google Assignments LTI 1.3 by Google. So let's jump in. So I'm going to go to my dashboard in Canvas, and I happen to have my own Mr. Tolman sandbox. That's my own course that I've created. I'm going to go to assignments, And to make sure that I'm not confusing this, I'm going to delete this one. And I'm going to create an assignment. I'm going to start by naming this, and I'm going to call this Google Assignments LTI 1.3 by Google Sketch and Tell. And just like what Jill showed you, you go down and you make decisions about points, assignment group, display grade as, and so on. And again, the most important tool is, or the most important part is this submission type. So we're going to choose external tool, and then we're going to click the find button. And as we go down the list of tools that you have available to you in assignments, we scroll down and we look for Google. Jill showed you Google Drive Cloud Assignments, which is a tool by Canvas that they created. Now I'm going to show you Google Assignments LTI 1.3, which is created by Google. So I'm going to click on that, and you'll see this box that's going to load this resource. You'll also see this new icon that looks like a Google Doc on a clipboard, and it's called Google Assignments. I'm going to click Continue to sign in to my P-BVUSD account, and that's going to connect my Google Drive. And then I have this new window that says Create a Google Assignment. Now, one cool thing about this is you can check for plagiarism or originality, and it says Analyze Google Docs for missing citations and possible plagiarism. So I'm going to turn that on. With 3 assignments with original, okay, maybe I won't. Under Files, this is where I can choose a file from my drive to make a copy for each student to edit and submit. So I'm going to click on Attach. Now I already have an assignment that I've found online at eduprotocols.com. And I'm going to go ahead and go to that right now. And I'm going to select that file and click Add. Now, if I needed to, I could attach multiple documents from my Google Drive if there's multiple documents that the students need to complete for this assignment. I can choose my points and my due date, just make sure they match on Canvas. And when I'm ready, I click the Create button. It's going to save those details. Do not close this window. Now I'm back to this page. So what do I do next? Do I click Cancel or Select? I click Select. Don't click Cancel. In order for that to go through, this is almost like the Save button, or to get that link. Down below, I can make decisions about how I assign it, who I assign it to, and when it's due. But for now, I'm going to save and publish. And after I save and publish, in this assignment, this is what the teacher interface looks like. Notice at the top, it shows the total number of points, the due date, the plagiarism, the file, and I can click and open that file if I'd like. And then I see how many have submitted it and how many have returned it. No student submissions yet. And that's where I'm going to pass the mic over to Jill, and she's going to show you what it looks like to submit an assignment with Google LTI. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and pass it over to Jill, who will be my student.
Myself. Okay, so now I'm the student. So I'm at my home page of Mr. Hans's sandbox, and I'm going to go into assignments. And I'm going to look for the one that he said was Sketch and Tell. So it's like, okay, that's my assignment. Click on that. It's still loading. It takes a while. Here it is. Okay. So now it shows that I can go ahead and open my assignment. You can either go from where my name, so it did give me my own special assignment there that has my name on it, or open assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. Your files, I'm going to go there. Okay, it looks just like the Google slide that I'm over there. So I'm going to go ahead and for this one, he wants me to get something. So I'll pick out a shape. Oh, here's the smiley face. I like the heart. The heart, there's the heart. Okay. I can go ahead and fill that in. I can be as creative as what I want. But that's how I feel like doing. I don't want to do any writing today. So I'm done. So what I need to do, though, is to go back. It automatically shares with them. So I'm going to go back to my assignment. And I'm going to go back to my home because I completed my assignment. So now I want to pass my share.
Your bar at the top is where the tab you need.
Okay. Let's go ahead and
Put that down there.
down. There it is. I can't see that. Sorry. Here it is.
Next tab of Google Assignments tab.
Where?
On your new tab. You're in Google Drive right now. Go over. But one more time. There we go.
There it goes. Okay. Sorry. Oh, submit. I did not. I thought I pressed that. So now I am submitting it. Takes a little bit of time. Okay, I'm all set, and I need to have it graded. So now I'm going to share my screen back to Mr. Tallman, and he is going to grade my assignment.
Awesome. Thanks, Jill. So now we're going to look at what it looks like when a student has turned in an assignment and the teacher is ready to grade it in Google Assignments LTI 1.3 by Google. So the way you find it is I'm going to go to my course and I'm going to click on assignments and I'm going to click on the assignment that I shared. And it will take a little bit of loading time. But now I see something different. I see that Jill Fetters has submitted on September 2nd at 2:34 p.m. I'm going to click on her name. It's going to open a new tab. And this is going to look very familiar to many of you who've used Google Classroom. Notice how I have a list of all the students that I can sort by first or last or status. I have a return button. I have a view of her slides. I can see her work and I can give her a grade. And I'm gonna give her 55% because that color, I'm a fan. Now notice the difference here between the Canvas tool and the Google tool. Here I can leave text feedback. So I'm gonna say, great start, Jill. Can't wait to read about your sketch, exclamation mark, and enter. So I'm going to return this assignment to her. And I'm going to click return. And it will take a little bit of processing time to send that out to her. I'm going to close this tab. And I see, so I have one submitted and now Jill will be able to look at her score, make any changes and resubmit it to me. So I'm gonna pass the mic. No, I'm not gonna pass the mic. One last thing I would like to say about the Google Assignments LTI 1.3, when Jill was about to press that submit button as a student, she also had the option of adding a file from her Google Drive or creating a new Google Doc, Google Slide, Google Sheet, so students can create files on the fly. So some features that distinguish this from the Canvas tool, the features of Google Assignments LTI 1.3, it's similar to Google Classroom assignments, so that's helpful. It lets you access your drive and shared drives, files that you either own or don't own, whereas the Canvas, you can only use files in your drive that you own. It does not embed with SpeedGrader. So if I were to open that up in SpeedGrader, there would be no preview like the Canvas tool had. And that preview is like, it's almost like a snapshot, like a picture, and it will upload over time. It won't be live. Students can add files or create Google files to attach to the assignment. When grading, the interface looks like Google Classroom with live comments on the document. So you can drop in comments specifically. And then after the student submits, they can't make changes, because submitting that transfer the ownership of their document to the teacher. Then the teacher owns that document. And until they unsubmit that document or the teacher returns it, they won't be able to make changes. If you add a grade in the LTI, this Google Assignments version, it won't go to SpeedGrader or the Canvas grades. So I would say that's a big disadvantage as of right now for Google Assignments LTI 1.3. Whereas the other tool by Canvas, if you put the grade in, the SpeedGrader, it will show up on your Canvas grades. So, and for those of you who are curious about those two examples of the Frere a Friend and the Sketch and Tell, I put a link down here in the slides to Edu Protocols. I'm going to go ahead and copy that address and drop it into the chat for you guys to check out. It's about 2:40, so do we have some time for questions, Jill and Shannon?
One question that I'm noticing that would be definitely on my mind, and it was prior to today when we were putting this slide deck together today, is which is like the preferred one to use. And you kind of have to look at what we've spelled out on the slide deck as far as advantages. But I will tell you, this is just me, I personally like the SpeedGrader, where I can see the document on my screen, grade it, put my comments, highlight, leave a video. It's all within that one area. So my preference is to use the SpeedGrader, which is part of the Google Cloud assignment. So that was the first one that I showed you, but I have to own everything in my drive. So that is a disadvantage if you do a lot of sharing, but a way around that is just make a copy and then you become the owner. The other two may want to share their opinions.
I will share. I actually prefer the Google based, the LTI, yeah, the one that Google developed. And just because it's more comfortable for me, it looks like Google Classroom, but the disadvantage is that the grades will have to manually be put into Synergy or SpeedGrader, depending on what you're using. So that's why I like that a little bit better. It's just easier for me to jump in and out and more familiar.
And right now I'm in between, because Jill is pitching some great points and I'm like, I don't know. Whatever makes teachers cry less, that's what I want to use. And Sarah just asked, so grades in Canvas will transfer to Synergy. Do we have a confirmation on that? No, they do not talk to each other right now. Fingers crossed, hoping for the future of synchronization. Shannon, I wonder if there's any questions in the Q&A doc that that may have been coming up, since we have a little bit of extra time. I know there was a lot in the chat, but is there anything going on in the Q&A doc we should know about?
Well, one person was just asking about Google Forms, and does this work with Google Forms if you want to assign that out?
I would say with Google Forms, instead of using these Google, either Google Drive cloud assignments by Canvas or Google Assignments LTI 1.3 by Google, I wouldn't use those. Instead, I would use an external link that links to the viewable form, so that they would just click on the link. But I also believe, I'm just gonna, since this is such a great question, I'm gonna give it some attention. So in an assignment, I'm gonna go to a different one. Now, this is an advanced feature and I don't want to overwhelm anyone. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, just plug your ears, close your eyes, pretend like I'm not talking. But when you do create an assignment and you're working in that rich content editor, look for the down V, and let's see if I can zoom in. It looks like a V or a down arrow, and it says more external tools. I'm going to click on that. Now you also have access to your Google Drive LTI 1.3 here. And what that means is if you did have a Google form that you wanted to put into the assignment and embed it, let's see if I can find a Google form. Let's sort by forms. Can I do that? No, it doesn't let you do that. Form. So let's see, there's a great form that I wanted my students to fill out, like an assessment. Oh, forms cannot be embedded. Well, that answers that question. So I wouldn't do that. Instead, I would do a link to a Google form. So I would do this link idea. I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to click on that V again. I'm going to go to Google Apps. I may be making a horrible mistake right now. Let's just break the internet. See what happens. And this format looks very similar to I want there to be a form. Really? I feel like I think that's a doc. I look for purple when I think of forms, but I don't see anything purple. Let's search for form. I did that, and this is what I came up with. So I would have to play around with this. Worst case scenario, if you had a form, I'm going to go to form.new. Am I spending too much time on forms, or is this relevant?
I think it's good to know how to embed things into that rich context editor. And so when you are using that V tool, this could be a great way just to have kids live right there filling out forms. So I think it's valuable, but what do you guys think?
So for my advanced users, if you're in your form and you want to embed it, you would go to the send button, click on this little icon right here next to the link, and there's an embed code that will give you the height and width of that form. You can make it bigger or smaller. You would copy that, go back to Canvas, switch over to the HTML editor. You guys didn't sign up for being web designers, did you? Paste that in, save it, and let's see what it does. So it embeds that form. Of course, there's only one question, not a lot to embed, but that is one way that you could embed a form on an assignment. And again, I went to Forms, open whatever form you're using, click that send button. Instead of emailing it, instead of grabbing the link, you go to the next option, which is the embed code. And this is the HTML that you would copy, go back to Canvas, and you just want to make sure you switch over to that HTML editor. HTML is website language. Any other questions that we need to address either in the Q&A doc or in the chat?
Someone asked if you have to have a due date to have it as a speed grader, and no, you don't have to have a due date, and it'll still be in your speed grader. It's just tied to the assignment, so however you set up the assignment, you can just grade that assignment, so that it doesn't have to be a specific due date.
One thing that we've noticed, that if you do put a due date on your assignment, and the students have this, this is the student view in Jill's course. Notice on the right side, it says to do, nothing for now. That's because there's no due dates on her assignments. But if she were to add a due date in the future, it would show up here in chronological order And sometimes that's confusing for parents and students. Like I had a teacher who's asking, how do I get rid of that? And I don't know that there's a way to get rid of that to-do list. But if you do put a due date on there, it will be on your student's homepage on the right, listed out there in chronological order. So the video for this training will be housed at this link right here. I'm going to copy this and paste it into the chat. And if you guys get a chance, go ahead and open that. If you do open that, take some time to bookmark that. I've bookmarked it and put it in my P-BV folder so that I could find it next time I need it. But here's where you'll find all the previous weekly links and recordings. You'll find the Canvas onboarding PD videos. And if you scroll down further, you will find the distance learning PD videos that this team has brought to you. You'll also find the frequently asked questions in that document. And I believe this video will be housed on this website. Great question. So we're gonna get that up to the YouTube ASAP. Any last questions, Jill or Shannon? 135 people hung in there. Look at you guys. I salute you guys. You guys are doing an amazing job. And if it's hard, just realize it's hard for everyone in the world right now. Teachers, parents, students, you are among great people who are pulling through this very challenging time. Oh, Shannon, I would love for you to pitch your training that's going to be happening tomorrow.
Thank you. I think I will, because this has been a huge issue for a lot of teachers and students, navigating Canvas. So Canvas is difficult, really difficult to navigate for the littles, for younger kids. So tomorrow's training, we'll be working on designing for primary grades. But still come if you're not a primary grade teacher. I just shared this stuff with a sixth grade teacher, and she said her students gave her so much positive feedback because it made it so much easier for them. So tomorrow, same time, we'll be looking at how to create, how to use just one course that brings in all of your content. So this is definitely for elementary school, and the students get into Canvas, they land on the homepage, and that they have everything they need right there. They don't need to be going through all of the other links and navigations to find modules, find assignments. We're going to design it in a way, hopefully, that is going to be very easy on you and definitely a lot easier on the students. So hopefully we see you guys there.
Awesome. Thank you, Shannon. So if you guys thought this session was great, we're going to drop our feedback form into the chat. And if you would take, 30 or 40 seconds to let us know it was awesome, that's great. But what is really helpful, if you think this session was not awesome, because you have some ideas on how we can make it better. And we do look at your feedback and we make changes every time to make sure that these are going to be most helpful for you. And also, please take a moment to sign out on the sign out sheet, and we will see you guys next time. My playlist is Electronic for Studying. I'm going to stop recording. Feel free to say goodbye in the chat. If you feel bold, unmute your microphone and say goodbye. Dance party with your colleagues. Let loose. It's Wednesday. See these guys drinking coffee? They don't even realize I'm dancing. They're so focused.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anna. Have a good one.
Bye, Jill.
Thanks, everybody. See you later.
Hey, Karen, I can see your
Hi.
face. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you. That was like what I needed. So
Okay, that's what we thought. The timing would be good now to go over assignments.
yeah, because it's almost just like putting it into Google Classroom. There's really no difference.
Right. Right. It's easy. And I really like the speed grader because it just keeps it all there for the teacher from assignments, speed grade, and do it. Makes it
That's
easy.
what I was thinking, that that would be the one advantage to uploading it the way that Canvas has designed it instead of going through the LTI way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you have
Yeah.
shared files, you would do it the LTI way, but if you have your own, then just choose the way that it just automatically puts the grades in. That's kind of what I
Right.
think. So,
Yep.
okay,
Good. Good seeing you.
bye.
Bye.
Have a good one. There's still 39 people who want to hang out.